Hello children, today we are going to start 14th chapter, Natural Disasters. It's always said that we have to live in harmony with nature. If we live in harmony with nature, everything goes on smoothly. But the moment we start disturbing nature, it can lead to natural calamities or natural disasters. Natural disasters are actually created by nature, but sometimes we make a way for these natural disasters due to our activities like disturbing the balance in nature. A disaster is an event which causes damage to life, property and environment. Disasters happen in different ways due to the change in temperature, pressure and magnetic force of earth. As we have been facing disasters, we have to know how to protect ourselves or reduce the impact of these disasters. So in this chapter, we are going to study about 4 main natural disasters that affects our life and how to save ourselves and to how to minimize the effect of these natural disasters. So let us start with earthquakes. Earthquakes are caused when there is vibrations or movement deep inside the earth. Earthquakes are the shaking of the ground due to vibrations deep inside the earth. We know that earth is made up of 3 layers, the crust, mantle and core. Crust is the uppermost layer. Under the crust there are plate-like structures. Under these plates we have the liquid or the molten mantle and core. As mantle and core are molten, they keep on moving continuously. And because of their movement, the plates under the crust, they slide very smoothly one over the other, just like a jigsaw puzzle fits to each other. But sometimes the movement of the plates will be sudden due to the change in strength or the change in pressure of the hot liquids underneath. At that time, the sudden movements of the plates does not make them slide smoothly, and this sudden sliding gives rise to earthquakes. Earthquakes cause a lot of danger to life and property. It leads to collapsing of buildings, shattering of buildings, roads crack, communication systems fails, and many people lose their lives. So it has to be dealt with a more or a proper way in order to reduce the number of people who lose their lives and to reduce the damage caused to our surroundings. Earthquakes happen with different intensities and their intensities are measured with Richter scale. Richter scale was invented by Charles Richter in 1935. It has magnitude from 1 and upwards. With this Richter scale, we can know whether an earthquake is having more intensity or will it cause more destruction. See, here it is marked earthquake, magnitude of earthquake. Earthquakes of magnitude 1 and 2 are not at all felt. We cannot feel it, it just happens and goes. 3 or 4 are minor, it is also hardly felt. 3 and 4 is minor, 5 is small, a little bit felt, 6 is moderate, a little more, and 7 is strong, 8 is major, and 9 is great. So there was an earthquake in the Indonesian coast during 2004, which almost was 9 intensity in Richter scale. So it was such a huge damage that was caused, and the earthquakes the intensity are measured using this scale, using these numbers 1 and upwards. Okay. Now people who study about earthquakes are called seismologists, and these people they can predict about earthquakes that is going to happen so that people can be moved to a safer place, they can be saved. This earthquakes, when they happen, they create vibrations which travel worldwide. And these vibrations are detected using an instrument called seismograph. It is used to measure earthquakes, detect the waves created by earthquakes. This shows the picture of a seismograph. It consists of a frame, a spring, a pen, a heavy object or a stone, a drum and a paper. In the frame we fix a spring, and in the spring we fix a pen. A drum with paper covered in it is kept just beneath the or below the pen, so that the pen touches when it moves, touches the paper when it moves, and this drum is free to rotate. Okay? What happens is, when earthquake occurs, due to the shaking of earth, the spring moves and the pen in the spring also moves. The pen, when it moves, it marks the pattern, or it marks lines on the paper, which is called the pattern, and that pattern shows the intensity of earthquake that happened. See, this picture shows the marking of the pen due to earthquake. Okay, I'll say once again, when earthquake happens, the spring attached to the frame moves, and when the spring moves, the pen also moves. The pen touches the paper wrapped on the drum. It marks there the intensity of the earthquake as a pattern, and that pattern is called a seismogram. See, this is the pattern drawn by a seismograph, that is called a seismogram. And people who study about earthquakes, I told you, they are called seismologists. They make use of the seismogram, and they know more about earthquakes, and they study about earthquakes that is going to happen. They predict about earthquakes to save the life of people. So this is all about earthquakes. Now we have to know how to protect ourselves, isn't it? Whenever there is an earthquake, there is a chance for everything to collapse and fall. Everything means the buildings, the electric poles, the trees and all, they fall down. So most of the people, due to earthquake, they lose their life as they are trapped inside buildings, or they are trapped under the trees that fall down. So whenever there is an earthquake, we have to run out of the building to an open ground, an open playground, or a garden without trees. Okay, then a park. They can be chosen to go out so that there is nothing to fall on our body. And never ever enter into a building immediately after an earthquake, because something else will be waiting to fall down, the broken parts, isn't it? So if we enter, sometimes it can fall onto our body. If you are trapped inside a house or a building, just go under a table or something strong enough to hold you safe inside it. Okay, it should be a strong table that can protect you from something that falls on it. So that is also a way to protect yourself. There is a chance for dams to break and floods to happen, so we have to be prepared for that also. The communication system fails, so there is no chance to inform others. So we have to be courageous enough in order to face all these things. So that is all what we can do in case of earthquakes. Now next is a natural disaster that is related to earthquakes. It is called tidal waves or tsunamis. Tidal waves happens due to earthquakes that happens under the sea. Under the sea means there is crust under the sea. So under that crust also the same thing happen, and when it happens under the sea, the water rises with great speed and it comes rushing to the shore and causing destruction to the shore. That gigantic waves are called tsunamis. Okay, they are powerful enough to destroy the whole area. They washes away everything along with it. Many people lose their lives due to tsunamis, but it does not happen frequently. But we have experienced a national disaster, that is tsunami in 2004. I told you about earthquake. When I told about earthquake, the Indonesian coastline experienced an earthquake of 9 Richter scale, and it created tsunami waves which caused great havoc. Many people, lakhs of people were killed. Many lost their life, their homes, they are homeless even now. So that was a great disaster that happened in our lives, that we have experienced, that is a tsunami. That only then we came to know about such a natural disaster. Till now it was very few people who were aware about this natural disaster, tsunami. It is actually powerful enough to destroy everything. Okay, so better thing is, if there is a prediction about tsunami, we have to move to a higher place or a faraway place, because we cannot predict how much distance these waves will come, isn't it? So we have to move to a very faraway place, or we have to move a higher place, so that we can protect ourselves. And tsunamis lead to floods, and sometimes it causes communicable diseases which spreads from one person to another. So many people lose life like that also, due to diseases, floods and all. So all these things we have to be ready to face if something like this happens. We should know what is happening. We have to act accordingly to protect ourselves. So these are the two important disasters, earthquakes and tsunamis. You have two more to study that we'll discuss in the next video. So you read your textbook. Thank you.